Good morning, everyone, from a very snowy Appleton, Wisconsin. I am Sarah Simon. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here at my normal time because my card buffet was canceled both last night and this morning. And so we decided to move it to next weekend. So next weekend, I will be a little bit later and I'll remind you of that. But I'm so happy to be with you this morning. I'm really not shoveled out yet. When possibly a couple of people were going to come last night, I went out and I shoveled a little path. See, my parents, one of the gifts that they give me for Christmas is they paid for somebody to blow out my driveway. I'm the first house on a street, and on the side of me is a boulevard. And so when the snowplow can only push one way on a boulevard, right? So they push it all towards my yard, and then they come around the corner and everything gets dumped in my driveway. So right about now, the end of my driveway is as high as the bottom of my mailbox. So, and then there's so much drifting and stuff that's going on that I'm like, okay, I would not have been able to probably even tackle this. And the guy who does the driveway is very, very kind in that he could have come yesterday a couple of times and charged my mom and dad for coming, but he kind of waits until everything is done and then he comes and blows it out good. And so I'm kind of stuck here a little bit until that happens, but I really don't want to be out on these roads anyway. So, anyway, that's life here in Appleton, Wisconsin. I have to say good morning to a few of you. It looks like we have Denise and Amanda and Becky and Mary. Thank you for sharing and liking. And let's see who else. Debbie, thank you for sharing. Carol and Lori and Linda and Holly, and that's Debbie again. So thank you all for joining with me. I know Lori said, I hope everyone is staying warm. The temperature hasn't been super bad other than the wind picked up here, but now the Arctic blast is supposed to be coming in. And so we're supposed to be getting like minus 30-degree wind chills by Monday, I think. So it's unlike us to have two snow days in one week. Tuesdays was kind of a lame snow day. It really didn't get bad until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we had yesterday, we had a snow day. So I got a lot of stamping done. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I would have been ready for my card buffet and my stamp club this weekend had I not had Tuesday, because I cut cardstock for classes that I have coming up from 7 o'clock in the morning until about midnight. And I took a break for meals and I did take a break. I had an online meeting that I had to attend for work. So I had that for like about an hour. And I did check emails and things like that. So it wasn't like steady that whole time. But if I didn't have that, I think I would have gone 2 nights without having any sleep. So, oh my gosh, negative 22 in Wyoming, Holly. Yeah, I think that's heading our way, unfortunately. So something to look forward to, I guess. So I have two cards and a 3D project, an easy 3D project for Valentine's Day for you today. But I did want to share some of the happy mail that I received in the last week. So last week I received this thank you note. Look at how beautiful that is. These letters, the thank you, are coming from that big pack of paper that's in our annual catalog. I forgot even what the name of it is, but there's one sheet that has the whole alphabet in these. It's like little white blocks, and she cut those out and made the word thank you. And she's using some of the celebration pool party ribbon as well as some of the celebration gems. Those are in the pecan pie. And that was a gift that she received. And these are from Aileen Humphrey from Tennessee. So thank you so much for the thank you note. And on the inside, it says, you inspire, excuse me, you inspire me. So thank you. Your card inspires me. Holy cow. And look at, can you see those little dotted or the little holes in the outside of that circle? We're going to be using that today. That's kind of a little hidden gem that I found in the the mini catalog a little bit after I placed my first order. It was in my second order though. And then look at this thank you note. This is from Amanda Shabo. I saw Amanda on here as well. This is the rocking card that we made last week. She made it using that soda can online exclusive. And these little speech bubbles, that is the punch from the bee. And we're going to be using the bee today too. So she took that bee punch and she used it as a little speech bubble. Isn't that cute? And then you open it up and it's got like the little soda bubbles on the inside. So thank you so much, Amanda. I hope you got your prize. You sent the thank you before you even had the prize in your hand, because I think I received the thank you the day after I sent out the prize. So I'm like, okay, there's no way she could have gotten this and gotten this in the mail to me. So thank you very much for sharing your inspiration. I'm going to set these aside over here. Then I have prizes to give away. So last week we did make this rocking card, and our little cow, I have to look which side he's on because it's backwards for me, is on a wobble. So his head wobbles. And this was a little thank you. Or it just says, the little things you do make such a big difference. So it didn't have to be a thank you. It could just be saying hello to someone. And then we used the abundance. No, I can't even think of the name of the stamp set. You see, that happens to me when I get on the camera. I can't think of abundance. I can't remember, but it has the masks, the dies, and the stamp set. And this was a sympathy card. And we also used a new embossing folder that was used in the background as well. Beauty's Abundance. I can't remember. Anyhow, it's going to bug me until the end of the video and I have to look at it. These are going to Debbie Peters. Debbie, I will get these in. Well, I'll put them in with your stamp club cards for this month. All right. And then for sharing. So anytime you share, and make sure that you write share, like Lori just wrote that she shared. It can be that you share the link somewhere on your Facebook page. It could be that you emailed someone and said, hey, check this out. However you share is perfectly fine. Let me know that you shared it. You also get put into a drawing. And winning a pack of these adhesive back hearts and flowers, which are so darn cute, right? There's Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, and I believe that's supposed to be Petal Pink. Okay, so actually I think it's Petal Pink and Sweet Sorbet. So these are just so much fun. Receiving these are Marcia Cullivert. So Marcia, I believe you're in Fond du Lac. I have your address. I will get these in the mail to you. And then for placing an order, let me get my host code up here. I would appreciate if your order is under $150. If you would put this host code in, which is right above where it's showing the total of your order. What that does is I end up getting hostess benefits that I can use to help me with paying for some of the prizes that I give away. And so if your order is over $150, though, you start to get hostess benefits. So then don't put that host code in and take advantage of those benefits yourself. You get a 10% product credit. So if your order is $150, you get at least $15 worth of extra product that you can get. So you take advantage of those. So receiving this stamp set, Cutest Cows, woo, we used this last week on that rocker card, for placing an order, is Nancy Hippis. So Nancy, I will get this out in the mail to you. And I will do that probably not today, because I don't know if I can get out of my driveway today before the mail goes out anyway. I will by some point get out today, but yeah. Anyway, what's this? It's 7:30 here. Waking up. Oh, good morning, Melanie. Yeah, I know you're in Arizona, I think maybe. So good morning, Karen Wetstein and Kathy. Anyone else jump on? All right. So those are our prizes for today. I'm going to set those aside so they get out of my way a little bit, but I will get those off in the mail. And I'm going to take my Post-it note that's up here. The lucky numbers this week were, for commenting was number 17, for sharing was number 13. That's usually an unlucky number. And for orders was number 4. So thank you all very much. Those were our lucky numbers. I think we should get to stamping. What do you think? I'm going to go ahead and I have to do this. I have to drag that over. I have to make that my main screen. And now I'm going to turn my overhead light off so that you don't get that shadow. It's amazing how that fixes that shadow just by turning off that light, right? Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with one of the cards that I had in my card buffet. And we're going to change it up just a little bit. Did I get your card and check, Melanie? I did not, but I can let you know that I went out to the mailbox last night and I had nothing. And it might be because of the snow. They might not have been able to get at my mailbox because it wasn't shoveled out. And so it may be coming today. We had 2 really bad snow days this week. And so I think some things got delayed a little bit. And I know that U.S. Postal Service, sometimes somebody sent me something from, well, actually I sent something to Debbie in Combined Locks. Now, Combined Locks where Debbie lives is only like about a 15 to 20 minute drive for me, but I put it in the mail just as like here's a little thank you for you. And I sent it out on a Wednesday and she got it this last week on, did you get it on Thursday, Debbie? I think you sent me a thank you or said, oh, thanks for the happy mail. So it took over a week to go just like 15 minutes from my house. So I don't know what's going on with the mail, but I will let you know when I get it, Melanie. Not a big deal. All right. So for our first card, we are going to be using the bundle called Everyday Details. We're going to be using this floral image, but look at this little teacup. Isn't that cool? And the nest. You make every day a little brighter is one of the sayings. Overjoyed for you in this new journey and wishing you so much joy on this special day. And then the dies. This is where those circle dies that Aileen had used came from. So there are these circles that have all different little holes around them. This can make, it looks like the number 5 dice. You see that? Like the number 5 on a dice. You can make these holes so that they're on a top layer and then you can see another color come through on the others underneath it. This also creates that same effect with a little X. We're going to be using this. This last one, which is the one we're actually going to be using, but I'm not going to be using it the way that you can use it. You can put it on a layer and what it'll do is it'll cut out the middle, but it'll leave this around the outside. So you'll have holes there so that if you have 2 layers, a different color could pop through. So if you had white underneath, like let's say a blue, you could see that white through the blue, and then you could put another layer on the inside if you wanted to. So different size labels, just different types of dies to use. So we're going to be using that today with our card. Now, and the one that I did for my card buffet, I can kind of show you a little, I'll do that afterwards. We used a different color combination. The color combination I'm going to be using today, we're going to be using a little bit of boho blue because I love that blue. And I think that blue looks so cool with crumb cake. And so we are going to have a card base. Our crumb cake is just a standard card base that's 8.5 by 5.5. And I scored it at 4 1/4 to give me just my normal card base. And then I have a layer of basic white. And this measures, I got to make sure I do the right one, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Now, if you prefer 1/4 inch because you don't like 1/8 inches, you could just bump this up to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you could just make this a normal 4 by 5 1/4. I made it just a little bit smaller than that, 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. Okay, so you don't have to You don't have to do it exactly the way that I did it. Let's see. I have to look at what I have for my layers here. I have this right here is our DSP, and this measures 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, and that's going to be layered on top of there. I also have an inside layer that's 3 3/4 by 5 as well. And the reason I did that is I should have a little strip of the designer paper somewhere. Here it is. That I wanted to put on the inside of this. I wanted to carry that into the inside. And since this was 3 3/4, rather than having to cut something a little bit bigger, I decided that that was going to be my inside layer as well. So I just cut off a 1/2 inch of that in order to be able to line the inside. So my DSP, this is 3 3/4 by a 1/2 inch. All right. I have this that I cut out from the label. And if you cut your paper to 4 by 2.5, that will be enough room for you to be able to cut this out. Now, there was, if you make your layer a little bit bigger, there were some dots that were on the outside of that. I couldn't see those because I cut this just to fit so that I wasn't wasting any paper. All right. This layer right here is 1 7/8 by 3 3/8. And that's the size you would need to fit in there just perfectly. So you just see your holes around the outside. So 1 7/8 by 3 3/8 is a perfect fit for that. And then I also have a scrap of the boho blue that we're going to do a greeting on. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to use some white embossing powder. We're going to use some boho blue ink. You can't even see that. I've got it up too high, but that's all right. We are going to, I got to get this all out of my bucket here. Memento. And I've got some Versamark ink. And I have this is the banner we're going to use from the Stylish Shapes on this card as well. And I've got blends. Okay, so I've got some crumb cake, old olive, boho blue, and a little bit of balmy blue for my blends. I'm going to set those back there. And our stamp set. All right, I think that's it. I've got some gems in there, but we'll grab those at the end. So for the greeting, I decided I wanted to stamp on this boho blue. My greeting is coming from the Go-To Greetings, and I just wanted a happy birthday on the outside. So I'm going to take my Versamark, and I'm going to stamp that happy birthday. And I have, these are just some little Rubbermaid containers that I picked up, I think, at Target. I saw the funniest meme yesterday. And it was a guy that said, I saved our family $300 and some. I went to Target to pick up the tube of toothpaste. Isn't that true though? Ladies, like when you go to Target, do you go there for like one thing and you walk out with like a $300 bill? It's like, wait a minute. I came in here for one thing. How did it get to be that expensive? Just gonna flick this a little bit to get some of that off. I forgot to use my embossing buddy, but that is my happy birthday. You need to heat seal that. And through the match, and then we're going to heat seal it and then cut it out of our Stylish Shapes. I'm going to set this aside so I can cut that out later because through the magic of TV, I have that done. Right, so that's going to be our outside greeting. I'm going to stamp that floral image on this 1 7/8 by whatever it was, 1 7/8 by 3 3/8. And when I have a little bit bigger stamp, I like to flip it upside down and bring my ink to the stamp rather than my stamp to the ink, because I make sure then that I have full coverage. This is always so fun to do when you've got a camera in your way. But I did okay. I have a little bit of that's just I think I can erase that little bit. I don't know where that came from, but I can erase that a little bit with my sand eraser in a little bit. And then the boho blue ink I'm going to use for my inside greeting. And I'm going to, it's happy birthday, but wishing you so much joy on this special day, because a birthday is that person's special day, right? So I thought that that greeting would work perfect for a birthday card. All right, so we've got our boho blue greeting on the inside. I seem to have like little, you probably can't see them because they're kind of small, but I feel like I've got little scraps here and there on my card. All right, I'm going to set all of this stuff aside while we work on coloring this image. I love coloring, and I love coloring with our blends. So I'm going to start with crumb cake to kind of bring that crumb cake in. Remember how I said I love crumb cake with boho blue? I'm just going to use the dark crumb cake is going to be just to go through this little line that's up here. All right, and I'm just kind of very lightly, kind of even almost putting dots. And then I'm going to follow the dark that the artist put in the bottom of this pot, as well as the top. I am going to leave the stems so I can color those in a green. And I'm going to just shade a little bit along the side of the pot here in that darker color. Then I'm going to bring in the lighter crumb cake, and I'm going to kind of pull that color so it can blend. See how it doesn't look as like just a line that's there? I blended it into the lighter color. I'm going to put that lighter color up here too. So there's our pot. Now you can also, if you don't like having to blend that, the other thing you could do is you could just color it all in the lighter crumb cake. We do have a color remover as well, and you could go ahead and use that as well to get rid of some of the darker or to shade it a little bit and make a part that's a little bit lighter. Okay, let's go ahead, and this is my dark old olive, and I'm just going to follow the, I think they're called the veins of the leaves. Those little lines that, again, the artist who drew this put those in there so nicely for us, and we just have to kind of follow them with our darker color. So that's all I'm doing. And I'm just basically lightly running my blend over those, because if I color too hard on it, I'm going to go into the leaf completely. So you can kind of see if I bring this up a little bit closer, I just added a little bit of dark to each of those leaves. Now I'm going to come in with the lighter of the old olive. And again, I'm going to use my bullet point because these are smaller images. And I'm going to blend in that darkness a little bit with the lighter shade. And these are kind of small leaves. So sometimes just making like little dots when you have little ones is all you have to do. And I've almost got all of them done here. I'm on my last one. All right, so that is our leaves. Then I'm going to take the darker of the boho blues, and I'm just going to run over these lines that are kind of coming from the center of each of those flowers. Now, when I tried the light blowhole blue over the top of this, I thought it was just a little bit too dark. And you could really almost keep that like that if you wanted to. Just have a blue center and then keep the flower white. I decided to take my light balmy blue, and I'm going to, again, start by working from the center to kind of blend in that center to not make it quite as harsh of a line that's there. So you're kind of blending that ink. That's why they're called blending. They're alcohol markers that make it pretty easy to blend the ink together. All right, and then I'm going to color in this little one. And then all of these little ones, I'm just gonna tap a few dots inside of there so I don't go outside the line. And I'm just giving them a little bit of that light colored of blue. So that's what it ends up looking like. You can hardly even see, I mean, I can see that those are colored blue. They're not completely white. Hello, Stamping Girl. Hello, Julie. All right, so that is our stamped image, or our colored in image. I'm gonna set these, can't put them back in my bucket because my stamp club's not over yet. It's so funny because I hardly ever have my stamp card buffet and my stamp club on the same weekend. But I originally, when I set my schedule for the year, set my stamp club to, or the stamp card buffet to be last weekend. Well, you know how many swaps I was making. I completely forgot that it was the first weekend in January, and there would have been no way for me to create 16 cards for people to choose from and have it all out before that. So I ended up moving it to this weekend, and then the snow came. So now it's actually going to be next weekend. So, but my club and my buffet have different cards. And so I'm going to have to unload my buckets a little bit and take the things that I need for my card club the next couple of days, and then pack my buckets again next weekend. And I'll show you what I mean by my buckets in just a little bit. All right, I did put a little bit too much glue up there, so I'm going to make sure that I don't press it too hard so it comes squeezing out. I have a newer bottle of glue, and when I have a newer bottle of glue, it tends to come out a little bit faster. I'm going to go ahead and attach this designer paper. I'll show you my other color combination for the card buffet when I'm done here. And I'll show you what my little buckets look like. And I'll explain a little bit about what my buffet is about for any of you that are local that maybe would want to join sometime. I'm going to put this up on dimensionals. I got to cut those. So let's start a new pack. Make sure I'm staying in the camera here. I know, right? Lori, I'm hoping Mother Nature takes a break for a couple of weeks too. It's so funny because I was talking to, I think it was my niece. I had to pick her up, I think, one day from school. And we were talking, and we both agreed that we love snow for Christmas. Like, it's so nice to get a fresh snowfall for Christmas, to wake up and see that snow with all the Christmas lights and all of that kind of stuff. It's so cool. And she said, since we didn't have that this year, and it was like almost 50 degrees on Christmas, which is so unusual for Wisconsin, she said, no, I don't care if it snows the rest of the winter. And I said, I feel the same way. If I love it for Christmas, but if we don't have it by Christmas, I don't care if it snows the rest of the winter. Okay, let's go ahead and put this label on our card. I love how that little blue is peeking through there. Make sure I'm straight here. And then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals as well because I can. And I think it'll look cool. And honestly, I don't think there's any place really around the country that's like great. I heard they've been getting a lot of rain in Florida, and it's been cold down in Arizona. I even heard, Melanie, for a little bit. I don't know if it got warmer again, but just crazy. And the tornadoes that they had. Oh, just nuts. All right, so I'm raising that up. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue through the center of my banner. I'm just going to set that. I still want to see the detail of the pot, so I'm going to set it about right there. Make sure that that's on good. So there's that, our happy birthday. Wishing you so much joy on this special day. And then to add a little bling, these are our pastel, I think they're called, rhinestones. These came out last year and they were carried over. And these are supposed to be, I believe, pool party maybe, but I think they'll look okay on here. I haven't made this card in this color. I'm going to just go ahead and pick this up. Set one there. Now, it doesn't really need these. That just adds a little bit of something to it. You don't actually have to have that. I'm just going to put the two of them on there in the corner. And I'm going to try this. I didn't have anything on my other card, but I'm going to check to see if this hasn't been open. This one has been. I have so much linen thread because I use it so often, but I thought maybe we could tie a little bow. I love it because it's so thin and it's so easy to make just a quick bow and stick it on something. I'll just make a little bow here. Sorry for my reach here. I should have all my stuff out already so you don't have to see my hand reach across like that. My bone folder. Curl it a little. And we'll get a glue dot. I'm just going to roll the glue dot up in a little ball and put it where I thought of putting it, which is right there. And then press my knot right inside of where that is. Well, I think that bow looks kind of cute there. Whoops, sorry. I'm down a little bit lower today. I don't know why. My camera just is a little bit lower, I guess. So there is our first card with our boho blue and crumb cake, which I love that combination together. Thank you, Lori. It's freezing in Texas. Oh, yeah. And in Texas, you guys aren't ready, or your system isn't set up for all of that stuff. So, I pray that you don't lose your power because that is horrible. Okay, so this is what my card buffet is. So I have 16 cards. This happened to be card number, I don't know if you can see it. It says number 8 here. And so when the people come, they get a Google form before they come, and they pick the 8 cards that they want to make for the card buffet. And so they have all their cardstock is cut for them. I have all of these labels and stuff cut for them. They just have to stamp the image, stamp the greeting, color this in. They have to stamp that inside and put the card together. I also have on the back of one of the cards, so there's always 2 cards in each bucket. I also have all of the dimensions that they can go ahead and take a picture of it if it's something that they would want to recreate. And then they just come and they make their 8 cards. This particular card buffet, or my card buffets, are $20 cash or a $30 order. So if you are local and you're ordering from me, and you're not signing up for my card buffet, know that for a $30 order, you can do that card buffet and you can make 8 cards. So I just wanted to point that out. If you want to get on my newsletter when I send out all of that stuff so that you can sign up for things, just shoot me a private message and say, here's my email. Please add me to your email list. And I'd be happy to do that. We do the card buffet once a month, and it's on a Friday night from 6 until 9:30, or on a Saturday morning from 8:30 until noon. So those are the 2 times that I offer it. So there is our card number 1. Oh, and I didn't plan for an envelope. Let me grab some of that paper. I think I still have some out. Let me just cut a strip here. I just realized I didn't plan for any of my envelopes today. Let's just add a little bit of that designer paper to our envelope. Oh, thanks, Julie. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks for sharing, Becky. Thank you, Patty. Patty, good thing you guys decided to go to Fond du Lac on Thursday instead of on Friday. Holy cow. I normally participate in a demonstrator retreat that Christine Bertram from Fond du Lac does for us demonstrators. And I usually go on Thursday with Patty and Lisa and Jay. Kathy has gone in the past with us, and I couldn't go because I teach on Thursdays now. I have 2 classes that I teach on Thursdays. So there's our card 1. So I was thinking about going on Friday, but then I had my card buffet on Friday, so I couldn't go on Friday. And then Saturday, same thing. And Sunday, I have my stamp club. And so it just didn't work this time. But I'm glad you guys went on Thursday. All right, card number 2. I wanted to show you, I have some swap cards. I know people were asking about my swap cards and if I would show them. Somebody asked me that once. This is from Susie Wood. I'm going to leave them in the saran and I'll just try to move them. So this uses that circle. Actually, this one I'm going to pull out because it's a fun fold. This is Susie Wood. I love Susie Wood's cards. In fact, I'll let you know this. If you go to her website or her blog, she does post all the dimensions when she posts something so that you have the dimensions. But this kind of, these interlock. Okay, so you open that up like that, and then this kind of slides back in there so that it locks in place. Okay, so that's Susie Wood. So that uses that circle. Almost all the cards I have use that circle. This is a Kathy Miller. Look at how beautiful that is, how bright and cheery, and that uses the teacup. All right, this one uses the circle with the cows, and then this is that rock and roll paper. This is a J. Oh, I should tell you who these are. This is Karen Slawinski, and then this one is Cindy Westerrink. I think that's how you say that. And this uses a couple of those layered on top of each other. Okay, and just beautiful. This card comes from Jeanette Swain, and this one uses that rectangle. She also colored in, I like how she added a little bit of pink to those flowers, and then it uses the circle behind. And then this is the center die that goes with that fits that Overjoyed for You in this new journey. Some of the boho ribbon. This is that dog background set. Look at how they just went ahead and colored that little rope that was in his mouth to add a little bit of, and then this is that rock and roll paper. So this is a circular and one of the rectangular ones. And this actually has a little Velcro on it and opens up like that. Okay, here's the blueberries. And there is the circle that you cut out again. And then here is the teacup using that same paper that I had used, which is the Poetic Expressions. And again, the boho blue ribbon, that's the Mossy Meadow. So this outside one is from the Poetic Expressions, that bundle. It's one of those dies. And then that circle die fits right inside of there very nicely. So I thought I would share some of those because I know someone said to me, could you share some of your swaps sometime? So I thought, well, since I'm doing that card, I will pull out some of the swaps that go with that card. So, or with that stamp set. All right. Our next card was actually originally designed by Kathy Miller. Love her cards. And I redid it as a Valentine because the card that she had done, the paper, I wanted to use it for my card buffet, but the paper was retired. And so I decided to remake it. We're using the Fluffiest Friends. And I'm also using a couple of Celebration products. So I wanted to highlight some of those. I'm getting everything out of my bucket. This is my card number 2. This is exactly the way they're making it. I didn't redesign it a third time. You're getting exactly what they're making in the card buffet. And I've got some gems. All right. I have everything out of the bucket so that I can just make. So Fluffiest Friends is some cute little bunnies and cats and bears and gophers and little birds, and they don't have any greetings with them. So my greeting I'm taking from our one of our Celebration products, but look at these fun dies. So it's got leaves and branches, and we're using the grass I used last week on my cow card. Remember I said I was just using this on a card that I was making, which reminded me that I had grass. Hi, Linda. Thanks for hopping on. I don't think I said hello to you, Elsa, so thank you for hopping on as well. So we're going to be using this. This is a little bit of a fun fold. It's not your normal fold. It's using a partial Z fold for the card. And here's my envelope. All right, let's see if I can do this. My paper keeps sliding on my glass thing, but my lights are just so bright, and I can put vellum on it and it does block them. But I have so many. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights on right now, and I'd have to block all of them. And I don't want to do that. All right. So this first layer is Flirty Flamingo, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 2 1/8 and at 4 1/4. Okay, so this is 2 1/8, and that's 4 1/4. Then I have another layer of Flirty Flamingo that measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I ran that through our Essentials embossing folder, which is an online exclusive as well. So we've got a bunch of online exclusives as well as some Celebration products that we're going to be featuring today. All right, this next layer is 2 inches by 5 3/8, and it's real. Okay, so real red, 2 inches by 5 3/8. Keeping with the real red, I have 2 layers of real red. Let me get them out here. That measure 3 by 3.5. Okay, so these are each 3 by 3.5. I have 2 layers of basic white that are just 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. Here they are. 2 7/8 by 3 3/8. Okay, so this is that's all you need to see those sides. Okay, I think that's something else. All right. I have excuse me, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. This is our design. This is designer series paper. That is a Celebration item. It has the white with gold on one side, and then it has the Flirty Flamingo red and white, like Valentine's type stuff on the other side of it. Okay. And I have a scrap of Granny Apple Green, and I have that to cut out our little pieces of grass. There should be 3 of them. I only see 2. I'll have to look in my pack to see if it's in there. Oh, no, I see it in there yet. And then there's a scrap to stamp, and then you have to die cut the little cat. And I have that done already. I don't see the other one in here. We'll try to make do with just the 2 of them because I don't want to have to go and have to try to cut another one. So our cat is cut. We're going to go ahead and we're going to actually, let's do our other stamping because then I can color everything at the same time. So one of our layers for the outside is going to be stamped in real red ink. Put my ink pads here. I'm using Love You More, which is from one of the, and I should look, I think it's called Heartfelt Hellos. Heartfelt Hellos. It's one of these celebration products. It's all greetings. So if you have some of those stamp sets that don't have any greetings with them, this is a great stamp set. It's got like a Mother's Day one. It has something about being a great dad. There's all kinds of greetings. On the inside, I'm taking from the Country Bouquet, which was our heart set from last year. I'm taking a Happy Valentine's Day greeting. That is going to go on there. All right. Around these things, I wanted to, and Kathy did this on her card. She ended up taking the little butterflies and just kind of stamping a couple of them around the greeting and up in the air. So we're going to put one maybe like right there. Whoops. Let's do that over. Because whoever wins next week, I want you to have a good card and not one that has a half a butterfly on it. So let's stamp this Love You More again. I'm going to stand up. I do better when I stand up and stamp because then I can be over the top of the camera. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let me cut another one of those. I don't know what's going on with me today here. Let's see. That was 2 7/8 by 3 3/8. Hang tight. Okay, third time is going to be a charm. This is going to do it. Love You More. And let's make sure. There we go. I almost put it in the wrong ink. That would have been a disaster. And we'll just put some up there. There we go. I'm also going to stamp in some Memento ink. The flowers that are in that stamp set. I'm done with red. Let's put a couple of these bees. I think I call them butterflies. They're bees. There we go. We'll put a couple around there as well. And then let's stamp some flowers down here. And we'll stamp across the bottom here. And I did not make this up. I think I already mentioned Kathy Miller is the original designer of this. I just changed the paper and changed the colors of it. And now I don't see, and oh, my grass is over there. Oh my goodness. This doesn't help when you've got buckets from all different things. Hey, Joan, thanks for watching along. All right, I'm going to start with my cat. And my cat I'm doing in gray granite. So I'm going to go ahead and color in all of the dark spots that the artist again had, all the extra shading that they did with their kind of pencil drawing of this. And I usually start there with my darker. Right? And then, and I actually am going to do all of the inside except for his little nose. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to shade that in. I might actually use the brush. So again, I'm going to pull from the darker into where it's white so that I can shade it. I missed a little bit around by his neck, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, so we're having a little gray cat. And trying to pull those darker colors again in so that they're not as harsh, but that there's still some blending. All right, our pot, I'm going to take a little bit of the copper clay and color in those little lines on the side, and then come back with the lighter color shade and pull those into the center. I love the copper clay because it kind of makes it look like one of those clay pots. All right, I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for that little leaf. And I'm using the lighter shade of the Flirty Flamingo for the petals. And then I have the light Real Red for the inside. Okay, so there's our little cat. Oops, and we're going to take a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo and add it to his nose. Okay, so that's what our colored in cat is going to look like. Good morning, Kay. Glad you could join us, even if it's late. All right, then for the flowers, I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to do the petals in red, real red. Then I'm going to do the center, and then I'm going to do the petals. And these flowers are pretty small. So again, I'm just kind of adding some little dots in them to do that. And then on the inside, I think I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do the dot. And then I'm going to do the petals. Oops, someone just left me a message, or I just got an email. I heard it vibrate. And I'm just going to alternate again back and forth on these. And I'm just adding some little dots here so that I can color those in. All right, I'm going to alternate with the Flirty Flamingo again. And one more. And we got to add a little bit of green for our leaves. And we have everything. Got a lot of coloring today. I don't have any coloring in the last project. All right, so I think I have everything colored and everything stamped that I need to stamp. I'm going to put these back in my bucket. I'm going to probably have to reset everything for next week anyway. Let me take this off of here. Sorry, I forgot to take that off. I do need an assistant, I think, when I'm doing these lives using this new software, if I'm going to put all these little banners and stuff in. All right, this is going to be the outside of our card. Our little cat's going to go right there. Whoops, I'm up too high. And then this is going to be the inside with that greeting. All right, so I'm going to run a little bit of grass, and I'm probably going to run out because I should have 3 of these. I do not see one on the floor or in the bucket, so I don't know what happened. Got a little bit too much. I have I hate when I start a new bucket or thing of glue. I'll maybe just come in a little bit. Okay, so there's our grass, and I'm going to maybe just trim the bottom there a little bit on that. I almost like it better when I'm almost at the end of a glue because I can control it a little bit better. I'm going to cut these a little bit straighter. Okay, so we just got a little grass. And I think if I just put him like that a little bit more, I'm not even going to see that I needed that little piece of grass. I'll just have his tail hang off the edge a little bit more. We're going to pop him up on some dimensionals. Actually, let's attach this first to our red layer. See what I mean? Like when I start a new bottle, no matter how much I try to control it, that first little part out tends to be there we go. And I try to keep my hand moving, so like that. You don't really need a lot of glue. This glue is really, really sticky. Good morning, Mario. All right. And now we'll go ahead and put our cat on. I think, Amanda, you were saying you have to make Valentine cards for your kids' exchange. I remember helping my sister and my nieces when they had to do that. One year we made a Valentine that looked like the face of a dog. And then my sister made puppy chow and we attached it to a little bag of puppy chow. You probably can't, since the pandemic, you probably can't bring stuff like that in where you hand make it. I don't know. I don't know all the requirements for, even though I work in a school, because I'm not like directly in charge of a classroom. I don't keep track of all that stuff. I know as teachers, they're always trying to buy things that are made somewhere else and bring them in, kind of prepackaged type stuff. But yeah, that was fun. Okay, I didn't fold this back. So this is, where'd my bone folder go? Here it is. So we're just making this into a Z fold so that 2/8, 2 1/8 gets folded back. And this designer paper is going to go on this outside piece. Now, if you wanted to, you could put another strip of that right there. I didn't on mine. Kathy hadn't on hers, and I just kind of followed hers exactly the way it was. So I'm going to keep giving credit to her because this was really her design that I changed up to fit my needs, which is what I love about swapping, because you can get ideas from people and you can change it and put different paper. But you can do like the same fold or a same layout and I think that's kind of why you guys are probably watching me too. It's not that you have all the stamps that I have, but you get ideas for how you might do a fold or how you might do a layout or something like that so that you can use the stamps that you have and make them work. All right, next I'm going to attach this to here, and I'm just going to add some glue to one side. And try to get that straight. I just sent Kathy Miller a text message yesterday. I said, "Are you working today?" She said, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, shoot." I was hoping we could play because with this new software that I have, she can actually be sitting at her house and be in the live with me. And she can actually be posting it to her Facebook page as well. So I said, we got to use this a little bit and kind of work together, work smarter, not harder, right? And she doesn't like all the tech stuff. So I would control the tech part of it. And I would just basically send her a link and she would just go to that link and I would control who's on the screen and all of that kind of stuff for her. I'm going to just straighten this a little bit. I lined that up so that I knew where to put this, but then sometimes I don't have it completely straight. So then I just do that. Thanks, Kay. Thanks, Linda. Oh, any food or candy. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of hard then, right? So I think we need to add a little bit of bling. And so we have I did this after I sorted out all of my stuff and I put everything in bags and I put what the name of it was and it's all in a drawer now instead of being like all over the place. These have some pink in them. And so I decided to use these gems. And I think I'm just going to use little ones. And I'm just going to, wherever there's white on here, I'm just going to throw a few gems to fill in that white spots, those white spots. Now you could put more of the bees if you wanted to on there, but there, whoops, I keep going up too high. Sorry about that. There is our Valentine's card with that cute little cat with a fun little fold and pretty easy to do. Depending on the age of the kids, you could have them help with like coloring them in if they're old enough to do some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a quick and pretty easy Valentine's card. All right, again, I didn't plan for anything for my envelope, so let me grab some of that paper. I think I have some sitting here. All right, here's some of that plaid paper. We'll just throw a little bit of that. I could have just stamped some of those little flowers on the end too. That would have been cute on the outside of the envelope. Now that I went and cut this, let's just go ahead and use it. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Patty and Nancy, all of you. Karen, thanks for all your comments. Now this paper that I'm using, like I said, this designer paper is a Celebration product. If you spend $50, you can get this for free. The other side has the white with the embossed, like this has hearts. There's some swirly stuff. You can use like a blending brush or you could use the brayer. And you could go over the top of this and make the background a different color if you wanted, and then just have those gold hearts coming through. That would work as well. So there is our card. And again, I just covered up my not having green there by just moving him off the side a little bit. All right, so that's our card number 2, which is our Valentine card. This was Kathy's card originally. Isn't this cute? So this was the Christmas paper, that really bright Christmas paper, which is no longer available. And because it wasn't a Christmas card, my November card buffet, I always do 16 Christmas cards that they can pick from, because that's what everybody wants, is they want Christmas card ideas and cards that they can use. And so since I couldn't use this in November, I'm like, I want to use that card because it's so darn cute. And so I pulled it out and I'm like, oh, shoot, that paper is retired. And I don't know if I have enough of it for the number of people that are going to possibly pick that as their card. And so I'm like, I need to use this because it's so cute. So I just changed the color. I changed it to a different embossing folder. I changed the greeting and colors, but basically I put a greeting on the inside to make it Valentine's. But yeah, that is what I have. Oh no, Melanie. I'm missing on some comments. I'll have to go back. I'm sorry that you lost a best friend. That's horrible. My prayers are with you. I'm sorry I missed the comments. I was too busy stamping, I guess. So know that my prayers are with you, Melanie. Okay. Let's go on to the last thing that I had for you, which is going to be using the Be My Valentine stamp set. So cute. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of cards with this and when I'm done as well. I didn't have a lot of Fluffiest Friends because that was an online exclusive. So I'll show you some cards with this afterwards. And this actually, I received this in, I did an online retreat. Oh, look what I just found, guys. I told you I had 3 of them. I know I cut 3 of them. I did an online retreat with Rhonda Wade, and it was all celebration stuff. And when you do an online retreat with her, she always sends a little treat along. And I used to do this all the time with my classes. And then life got busy and I kind of stopped doing it. So everyone in my card buffet this month is getting the same. I just basically copied what she sent me. And I decided, well, I'm going to use that to show you how easy it can be to make a little treat thing for maybe somebody you work with or anything like that. So you just have to start with a piece of cardstock that measures 3.5. Let me get my mouse up here so I can give you that. Okay, 3.5 by 11. I scored this at 6.5 and I scored it at 9.75. All right. She used 2 pieces of designer paper. I opted to use 3 because I'm making mine a little different than hers. So this first piece of designer paper is 3.25 by 3.25. And then the back side of it I'm using, which is 3.25 by 1. And then this piece right here, which is going to be the bottom, is 3.25 by 2. Okay, so that's all you really need. And then you just decorate it up. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to fold at the 6.5 inch score mark. We're going to fold and burnish that. And then at this 9.75 inch one, we're going to fold that back and make like a little flap. Okay, so that's all we did was fold there. I'm going to adhere the one that was a square piece. I'm going to adhere that to the inside part at the top here. To make sure my leaves are going in the right direction. Last night when I was making my sample one, I put it down and I'm like, oh, Sarah, you have these little kind of like the petals or not petals, the stems of the flowers. They were going sideways. This right here is going to go along the bottom. Like so. I love the bees bundle too. I'm going to show you some of my swap cards. I don't have as many swap cards with it. I think because as demonstrators, we were able to order that one earlier. So I think there were a lot of people that did their stuff earlier. And then when it came time for swaps, they chose to use something that they weren't able to order before. Whoops. Make this a little bit more even here. This glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but I put it down. Let's see here. There we go. Didn't have an even amount on the top and the bottom, and that would have bothered me. Okay, so there is our little packet so far. All right, what we want to do is we want to decorate this. And so I'm going to start by stapling each of the ends so that I'm stapling this together. You can actually glue this down if you want. Actually, I'm not even going to glue it down. I'm just going to staple it with this. It doesn't have to be glued. I didn't glue. So I'm going to put a staple there. I'm going to put a staple there. You don't have to cover that staple because it kind of blends in a little bit. And when she sent the little treat to us, she didn't have the staple covered at all. But I thought an easy way to cover that staple is to take some of our sweet sorbet ribbon that goes with this sweet and to just wrap that around. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. I think I need a little bit more this way on the side here. Yeah, that stapler is awesome. I wish we still sold it, Melanie. You can find some little craft staplers elsewhere. You probably, I mean, if you don't have a craft one, you could just always use a regular stapler. It is just a little bit longer staple. These staples are a little bit smaller. But I do love that stapler. Maybe we can request for Stampin' Up! To bring one back for those that didn't get one years ago. All right, so I've got that. It's closed. I've hid the staples with that little knot. Now I wanted to add something just to dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to bring in some scrap paper. I have a couple of scraps here. I'm going to use some Daffodil Delight. And I've tried this both ways, and I find it's easier. It's easy both ways. So there is the stripe in the tail of the bee that I want to do in black. And there's the body of the bee that I want to do in yellow. So there's kind of that debate, like which one should you stamp first? Should you stamp the body first, or should you stamp the tail and the stripes? I found that it doesn't really matter. I've been able to line them up pretty easily either way. So you can kind of decide which you want to do first. I'm going to actually stamp the body first this time. Oh, nice. Good. Let's see. And then I'm going to use Memento ink. Again, I'm using all the stuff from my bucket that had my Valentine's card. So I'm taking the tail and I'm lining it up with the edge of this, and then I'm lining up the sides so that I know where to stamp this. And I'm doing it over a camera. So look at that. Even over a camera, it turned out pretty well. All right. On my other one, I'm going to actually take another one because there are some things that could possibly stamp out of there. And I want to make sure that I don't. Here, actually, let's just punch that first. I'm going to close my yellow because I'm done with that. And I'm not done with the Memento, but I'm just going to put the cover on it because knowing me, something's going to end up in there. All right, so here's our punch. So there's that little speech bubble that Amanda used on that card she sent me. So you could use it as a speech bubble. It's the bee. You've got two hearts. One can punch out the wings. The other one can punch out the antenna. So I'm going to slide this in here. And I get it so that it's lined up, and I kind of like squeeze it a little. Make sure I've got it lined up. And then once I have it lined up, I pull the trigger. All right. Then I'm going to take the little antenna. I'm going to stamp that in black as well. Now, normally I would have like a piece that would be, see, I'm going to have to cut this off in order to slide it in there. I would have a smaller piece, not as wide. I didn't need that for this card that they were making for my buffet. Okay, so there's the little antenna I cut out. All right, and then we're going to do the little wings. And I'm going to do that. If you look on the paper that I chose, they had petal pink for the wings. So I'm going to use the outline and petal pink, and then we're going to color in with a little bit of Wink of Stella. And I'm going to stamp and cut, because see how this heart's going to cut out because I don't have my paper cut the right width. And then I know where to put this one. If I had stamped that right next to it, it probably would have cut into that. So I wanted to, there we go. And I'm going to, oh, there goes my stamp pad. It landed upright at least. I'm only closing it because I'm going to press it together to get a little bit of ink on the cover. Now you can also press an empty block, which I didn't have an empty block sitting here. You could press the block in there and pull the color up that way. But I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and put that in there, and then color in the inside of the wings with my Wink of Stella, because that's adding color, but it's also adding glitter. And I sometimes forget that I can use my Wink of Stella as that blending brush to blend in the color. And I don't know if you can see all the glitter that I can see on there, but there's also glitter in with the color. All right, so we have the parts of our bee all stamped. Now, there's different ways that you can use these bees. And I had a whole bunch of them stamped here to share with you. I don't know where they went. But you can use your bee this way. And you could put the wings on here. And there are different faces that you could put here. You could flip it around and have it go in that direction. Put your wing on top, put your face over here. I'm going to have mine like this. And so I'm going to put a wing on this side, and I'm going to put a wing on this side, and I'm going to put my antenna up here. And that means I have to stamp my face right in there. So I picked one of the faces that they have. They have where the eyes are closed. They have one where one's winking. There's different eyes that you can use. I'm just going to do that right there. Isn't he cute? I just love this stamp set. And I love how you can use all the different, like this is a heart. Now, if I wanted to, I could cut out a heart and put a heart on here as well. So I'm just going to use some glue dots. And I'm going to pop that one there. And that's going to go there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the little antenna. Okay, and this is just going to go right in here. So I found it easier to put a dimensional on this side of my ribbon and put a dimensional on that side of my ribbon and pull them off and then set my bee down. Isn't that cute? Now I wanted a little bit of greeting on there. So what I did was I took one of the stamps that said love you and I used Versamark and our white embossing powder. And I'm going to take the same thing that cut out our wing, that heart. I'm just going to cut that out and pop it up on a dimensional and place that over here. And you might be saying, well, that's really cute, but what does it do? I'm going to slide a little Hershey bar in there. And now I have a treat to give away to somebody for Valentine's Day. All right. So this is the one that I made. The one that Rhonda had sent to me and then I made for all of the people in my card buffet is this one where it says Be Mine. It stamped, instead of stamping the bee in yellow, I stamped just the black on yellow paper and then cut that out. The wings on this one are made of vellum. And this is the little antenna heart that I just stamped out or punched out. Here I didn't use any DSP in the center, or she didn't use any DSP in the center. See how you can see the staple there? It doesn't matter. But what an easy way to give a gift of a Hershey's bar. Looks like I should probably put this way so they can see it's a Hershey, right? Just slides right in there. So what a fun way to give a gift and use that little thing. Now, I still have to make them, but I'm using this little bee and I ended up getting some Burt's Bee lip balm. And I'm going to be, if any of you in my stamp club are listening, cover your ears. But I still have to make them. And I have a couple of people that I have to send them to because I have a couple of people that are virtual. And I thought of it after I sent everything out. I have a couple of people that do my stamp club virtually because they don't live around here anymore. They started living out around here and then they ended up moving. So we kind of accommodate them so they can still be part of our club. But I didn't have everything done. So they're getting theirs after the fact. They're getting a little happy mail afterwards. But just some little gifts to kind of brighten somebody's day. My bee card. So my card for my card buffet is this step card. Happy Valentine's Day. It's got the flowers on the inside. It uses the perennial postage. I found this card online and I copied it. And I feel bad showing it because I can't even tell you who I copied it from. I do that a lot. Just like you guys find inspiration from me, I find it from other demonstrators as well. And then in my swaps, the very talented Diane Bogenhagen had this swap for the swap that I was in. And look at this cute card that she made. And it has little seeds. They're called honeybee wildflower mix. I don't know where she found these, but holy cow, is that not cute? So she made a little pocket for them to go on. You make my heart buzz. And then when you open it up, it's a little happy Valentine's Day. So another little gift giving idea. She cut the bee out of the paper to make it that small, to make it fit on this card. All right, then she made, I'm going to pull some of these out here. These are all by Diane. So this is a pocket card. You're sweet as honey. Look at how cute that is. And then we have this one. I'm going to pull it out because it's a fun fold. This is one of those book folds, but it opens the long way. Be Mine. And look at Happy Valentine's Day. And she just cut out that from the designer paper again. All right. And she's just got, this is a deckled rectangle underneath there with a little bit of bling type paper. Can you see that shine a little bit? And that's just a little 1/4 inch strip of paper. But look at how that just adds something to that card. All right. And then the last one that she did, you're as sweet as honey. And this is a thank you, actually. So she cut out the bee, but then she used the little swirly thing there to add in there. And then just so cute, such cute cards. So, and she even used the new softly stippled embossing folder behind there, which kind of ties in a little bit, kind of looks a little bit like the little dotted lines that are there. So I thought I would share those, Diane. Oh, and here's my, remember how I said, I know I cut those bees out so I could show you them in different directions. So the bee could go this way, it could go that way. All right. Or you can have it like I did in my card where it's open up like that and it has wings on both sides on my tree. All right. So there is our little Valentine's tree. Thanks for sticking with me. For those of you in Wisconsin, you're probably saying, well, I had nothing better to do. Now I got to think about going and getting myself out, shoveled out of your driveways. Okay. So that's our little treat. I got to move down again. Here is our Valentine's card inspired by Kathy Miller's card. And then here is a little birthday boho blue with the Everyday Delight, I think it's called, stamp set. I haven't done 3 projects in a while, but I didn't want to do just these 2. I felt like I wanted to add something else. And I loved how this card turned out, even with, I think I showed you the pink and the brown one that they did for my class, Pecan Pie and then Petal Pink. This paper is some of that Brightest Days paper that's also in the Celebration. So anyhow, let me see if I can get back to you again. So I got to do this. I got to drag, and then I have to go like that. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Now I have all these lights shining on me. Oh, Carol, I know, right? It's like you see some of this stuff. I see some of these demonstrators, and let me tell you, there's some very talented people out there. And I see some of the things that they make, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to go buy that. That's kind of like how this was. Like, how did I miss this in the catalog the first time around? It's so cool. And then I started seeing things that people were making. I'm like, where did those dies come from? And I'm like looking through the catalog and I'm like, oh, there they are. That's really cool. I need to order those. So they were actually in my second order because I didn't even see them the first time. And, you know, wasn't able to open the catalog for so long that I've forgotten that I can actually open it now. So the Everyday, they are on page 28 of the annual catalog, if you're looking. So it's right there. So the dies are, whoops, down here. So you can see all of those. But I'm like looking at that now and I'm like, oh yeah, that is really cool. But for some reason, I kind of looked over that the first time. And I don't know how. You can't get everything, right? But those dies, I'm like, those dies are really cool. I could see Stampin' Up! Keeping those dies into the next catalog because they are pretty cool. All right, that's all I have. Now, next week is when I'll be later now because some of my ladies that couldn't come this morning are coming next week, Saturday, and hopefully the snow will cooperate, or that there won't be any snow. And then I have a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be on retreat, so I won't. But that won't be until February. So I'll have a couple of more weeks that I can help you with or show you some of the things you can do with Celebration and some of the things in the new catalog. So thank you all so much for joining me. Oh, thank you, Lori. I love having these lives and I love having all of you watching. There's 41 of you watching me today. What the heck? Me in little Appleton, Wisconsin. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you're in the snow or in the cold, stay warm and stay safe. Stay inside. It's a reason to stamp. That's what I always look at. Mother Nature gave us a reason to stamp, right? So have a wonderful weekend. I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.